Hey family, not near one black person that'll be out here in these riots that's going on in California. Latino community, we will pray for you, but we have told you all, we told you before the election, if you support Donald Trump and get him in office, he is going to be deporting people. And this is what happened. See, you need to listen to us. Our forefathers, we have been through this. Okay? This is something new to you all. You all aren't used to this type of uprising with the government. Unfortunately, I'm telling you, this is you all's civil rights movement. And again, even some of you, I've heard even some of you Dominicans and you Cubans who don't even, Afro-Latinos who don't even want to recognize that you have African blood in you. Some of you all now are so desperate that you're even calling on the black community to support you. No, we're not doing that. You're not going to use us. See, we've played nice. We have warned you. We told you. But yet you talk behind our backs when you see us. You call us all kind of black and monkey and N-words and all that. And now that you all are in a crisis, you want us to come out here and rescue you? No, we're not going to do that. We will pray for you, but that's it. That's it. We have used up all the energy we have, and we are conserving it, and we are moving forward in this time of your civil rights movement. Again, we will pray for you, but you won't see us out there walking with you. And that's not coming from a place of hatred. It's coming from a place of it's better to show you than to tell you. See, we tried. See, unfortunately, many of the Latino community is like a child where you tell them, the parent says, listen, don't do that, but they do it anyway. Now you have to suffer the consequences. So again, don't think that we are not sympathetic or empathetic, because trust me, we know how this is going to go and how this is going to be a hard and long road for you all. So we will keep you in our prayers. But what we're not going to do is use any of our energy to be out there in this foolishness. Not at all.
Hey, fellow Latinos, I'm not saying it's okay or right that black people are like, no, let them fend for themselves. I mean, honestly, it is okay, but I'm not saying like, yes, let's do that, because unity is what helps us. But also, like, I know it's not supposed to be transactional. I just need you guys to start thinking, because you guys are like, all gung-ho, active out there, unified together in the streets now. But where were you when the George Floyd protests were? I personally was out there with my friends who were Asian, Pacific Islander, Mexican, and Puerto Rican. And then I'm Mexican myself, and a white husband. We were out there, okay? And I've gotten comments from people in my community, people in my family who have been like, well, you think you're black. What about me? What about my content? What about the way I speak, the way I act? What about you makes you think that I think I'm black? Oh, because I advocate for black people too, as much as I advocate for my people? It shouldn't be transactional. You shouldn't have to have a dog in the fight to care. You should just have basic empathy. You should just care about people. You see a sad story, oh, you cry. You want to help out however you can. You guys see that all the time. You see a puppy in danger. Oh, let's rescue all the puppies. Why is it so hard to do with humans? Black people don't owe us anything. But even one of the major interviews going around about the guy whose girlfriend was taken because they were just recording, in that there's a black man who's in the background and he's like, si se puede. He's out there. He has nothing to gain from this. So think about that. Don't go back to the anti-blackness. Learn, stop saying the N-word. Do that. Stop saying the N-word and humble yourself. If black people tell you something's offensive, change it. Change it and don't become defensive.
Why is nobody else protesting with us? We're not the only immigrants. Latinos are not the only immigrants. There's Europeans, there's from Africa, there's from Asia, there's from all over. Where are you guys at? Why are your people not standing with us? I know you don't want to call it upon you guys, but why are we alone in this? Go look at the videos of the protests that are going on. We are fucking alone. It's all brown-skinned people. Where are all the other races? You guys post all these fucking videos about it, but you guys ain't doing nothing with us. Where are you guys? Why are we alone? We support everything when it comes to you guys. We are always there for you. And this is why we Latinos are just different. We're different in everything. We're different the way we work. We're different with our morals. We're just different. This is why we're so hated, because nobody will ever be like us, because we are always there when people need us. But look at right now. We're so fucking alone, and we're still fucking standing strong. I think I've never been so proud of being a fucking immigrant Latina in the USA. We're fucking amazing. We're fucking amazing.
Why we start arguing about something that we all know the answer to? Listen, to my Hispanic brothers and sisters, we do know that all of y'all did not vote for Donald Trump. But we do know that more than half of y'all did. Your argument is not with us.
Hey tribe, what we are witnessing in California right now is a moment of reckoning. And of course, and no, not just for politics, it's a ratio, it's culture, and it's personal. And of course, you're going to keep it back. Black folks have been warning Latinos, especially the ones who went hard for Trump. And that this man doesn't care about immigrants, doesn't care about brown families, and he definitely doesn't care about anybody who ain't white. But they didn't listen, and they stood by. Some of them laughed and even called, the black people names, for the safety of, I wouldn't mention those particular names. Now ICE is pulling up in their neighborhoods, and suddenly they're calling for unity. And the blacks are like, we are not here celebrating your pain. We are just saying that we want you, and we used our enemy, our energy, our voices, our tears, as for George Floyd, and of course for Breonna, for Taylor. And when we needed allies, a lot of you were silent or was mocking. Okay, good. So guys, this isn't about hate, it's about healing. And they keep on reminding them, it's time for the black communities, black Americans, to heal, relax, and watch. But healing only happens when you admit that you messed up. And of course, if you ignored us when we were dying in the streets, and you can't expect us to come running when it is your turn, that's not unity, that's convenience. Now, black people aren't the saviors of every oppressed group, so they've always carried too much for too long. We are going to watch these particular clips that are put together courtesy to their creators. And of course, as usual, guys, as we do it here, circling back at the end of this particular show with thoughts, comments over the same. But hopefully you've also done the same. Drop us your comments on the comment section, what exactly you think of this particular video. A thumbs up will do me good, a subscription much better, and of course a comment on the comment section will feel me that we are together in this one, family. See you in the next one.
We have shown you what can happen. We have shown you what white people will do to you. We've shown you. But you do not want to be anywhere associated to black folks. I mean, they're literally doing what they did in history. If you think about it, they said those who don't understand history will be doomed to repeat it. Today, history is being repeated in a modern way. So they say that the Hispanics, which I'm not quite sure about that, but they said the Hispanic back in the day ruled the southern part of the U.S., right? Before it was the U.S. And they was ran out by the settlers / colonizers / Europeans down into Mexico, right? Ain't that what they're doing to you today? They'll literally snatch you off the street. See, you actually getting an idea what slavery was kind of about. Not that extreme though. See, they're snatching y'all off the streets. They snatch you as you go to court. They running into your house, taking your wives, snatching your husband away from the family. leaving the kids to defend themselves. You know, see, when slavery was kind of it was a little bit more extreme than that. They was raping the wife, they was lynching the husband, and they was raping the kids and separating the families. So you just get a little taste of what, just a little bit, not even enough to not even a mustard seed of what black folks been through here in America. But you want us to stand with you. Okay. But how come you ain't been standing with us before then? See, we told you not to vote for this man, but you did it anyway. You know why you did it? Because you see yourself more aligned with white America than you do black America. Right? So you put yourself in a category because you wanted to look down on us, and based on things in America, black folks is the bottom. Right? But let me help you out with one thing. Every house has a foundation. Every building stands on something. I don't give a damn what they tell you. Black folk has always been the foundation to this country. Always. We don't get credit for anything. The majority of the things that you love, that helps you, that you use, was either created or somehow enhanced by black people. But now you want our help. Listen. All I can say is, first and foremost, get your house in order. Talk to your people. Right? Talk to your people. Then go talk to the white people. Get them on board. Because the majority of them voted for him too. And then once you get them all on board, then y'all come over here and help the black folks out with what we got going on. Because remember, all the things that you get usually come off the blood, sweat, and tears of black folks anyway. So get your people together. Go get you to the white America. And y'all come over here to where the black folks are. And y'all help black folks get the things that they need. Because once we get it, everybody gets it. You understand? That's how it always works. But until then, you're on your own, dog.
I have been struggling on how to say this, and I made a video earlier, I took it down, but y'all are focusing on the wrong people. Y'all are focusing on why don't black people care what Trump is doing. We do. But we're focusing on us and ourselves to survive through this. What y'all need to be focused on instead of, well, why aren't black people actively protesting and doing all the things that they usually do? One, because we told you we're not going to do that anymore. Okay? We told you. Y'all didn't listen. Two, because we can't help you as much as the people you need to help you. Okay? You need white people. You're focusing on black people, you need to focus on white people. You need to get their attention, their compassion, their empathy, their social and political power. You're focused on the wrong people. You're focused on the wrong demographic. Black people don't make up the vast majority of this country. We don't make up the vast majority of politicians. We are not in the White House. I'm telling you, you need to focus on white people and getting them to actively care and campaign and protest in your name, in your favor, and leave black people alone.
Let's talk about black and Latino relationships. Heavy, right? I'm Colombian American. I was born in South America. I was raised in a working class town in New Jersey. growing up, all of my friends were black. I actually didn't really have that many Latino friends when I was a kid. Most of my friends were black. And really, I think that shaped my perspective differently than a lot of Latinos in the US. And I want to make something very clear, and I want to talk about something that I think a lot of Latinos like to ignore. First off, a lot of us have black roots. In Colombia, in South America, about 20% of the population is black, Afro-Colombian. My father's family has black family. I have some black heritage. Clearly, I would never go around saying I'm like African American, but I just want to say many of us share black ancestry, and we grew up in households that bear the stain of colonialism. Essentially, we were forced upon us these views by the Spanish, by the Portuguese, even by the US, because the US government kind of went into a lot of our homelands and kind of pushed their own agenda. And we were pushed to understand or to think or to believe that the darker we were, the more inferior we are. You see this a lot in South Asian communities. Indian communities, I see do this a lot. And I'll be very honest with you, I don't want to kind of start a controversy here, but I do often see a little bit of racism from South Asian communities directed at people like us, Latinos, and definitely at African Americans. East Asian communities, this is a problem there too. Maybe we'll talk about this in the future. Like I said, this channel is for uncomfortable conversations, and I want you guys to have them in the comments. I want you to discuss this stuff. So let's talk a little bit about Black Americans and Latinos, right? So this is the part that infuriates me the most. Black Americans have historically pushed a lot of the civil rights and liberties that we have in this country, in the United States. The civil rights movement was led predominantly by black people. Many of the rights and the privileges that we have, if you're a Russian American and you're going around talking about how much you love Putin or whatever, you won that right. Well, you didn't win it, but you have that right because people decades ago fought for the right for you to express yourself, for you to be free and have freedom of speech. And I think this is something that a lot of Latinos don't understand. I think this is also a divide between Latinos who haven't really been in the U.S. that long and Latinos like myself who were either born or raised in the U.S. since children. I have noticed a culture amongst some Colombian Americans that I interact with who have only been living in the U.S. like 5-10 years, and all of a sudden they become political experts on the U.S. They're like in their 30s or their 20s. They didn't grow up here. They weren't teenagers here. They may not have even gone to school here. And yes, I want to shout out Aaliyah, my first crush as a child. And so sometimes you have discussions with them and you'll ask them like, oh, you think this is okay? Like what the government is doing, limiting the free speech of students, etc. And they'll be like, yeah, every country has the right to like determine who they let into their country and what they can do. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're a threat to the country, you should not be let in. But freedom of speech, that's like a foundational bedrock of our liberal democracy, which is what we have always been for, at least for the past decades after World War II. And I feel like a lot of these recent immigrants don't know that. I think they come from their countries with kind of backwards views on liberties, on what you can say, what you should say. Some of them think that because in their home countries, the government can kind of come and tell you what to say, then that's okay to do that here in the US. And I want to be very clear about something. America has never been okay with telling people what to do and what to say. You can take this back a couple of decades. You can take it back to Ulysses, a novel published by James Joyce, which was like very controversial and made its way through the courts. And guess what's one of the most important novels of the 20th century, which would be Ulysses by James Joyce. You also take this back to novels like Tropic of Cancer, which was heavily censored and banned in many places in the U.S. And eventually it became part of kind of our cultural experience. Henry Miller's Tropic of Cancer. One of my favorite books, by the way, I heavily recommend it. But we have historically moved towards supporting civil rights, supporting speaking for yourself, and Black Americans have been a huge part of this. I'm willing to say that if it weren't for Black Americans, America would be a little bit more totalitarian than it was a couple of months ago. And interestingly enough, when you talk about this and you tell people, well, America hasn't always been a free country, right? In the civil rights movement, dogs were sick on Black protesters. People were murdered under kind of state-sanctioned dangerous views. And a lot of this happened because Black Americans were fighting for their rights, and they were treated horrendously by not just the U.S. government, but local governments, people in the communities that just were so ignorant and stupid that they didn't understand that, we're all human beings. And a lot of Latinos have benefited from this. Even Latinos that arrived here 5-10 years ago. But the problem is they don't know they've benefited from this. They don't know that the reason they can play salsa out in the street without having someone call the police on them, or successfully call the police on them to get it to shut it down, is because Black Americans made it possible so that integration, civil rights, acceptance of different races was something that we championed as a society, up until recently, of course. And I think a lot of my Latino brethren need to kind of get it together and start studying what this country was founded on. You can't arrive in a country, you can't come here as a new immigrant and bring with you oppressive, totalitarian beliefs and think that now you can enforce them because there's a candidate that you like that does that. Like, you need to read up on John F. Kennedy. You need to read on FDR. You need to read on James Baldwin. You need to read about Malcolm X. You need to read about so many, W.E. Du Bois. You need to read about the people who fought for our rights and how hard it was for us to maintain those rights. And if you really want to be an American, if you want to come to this country and you want to say, I'm an American and I'm proud, whether you're Cuban Republican or Colombian Republican or whatever, well, you need to learn the history of this country, right? Because you came here, you chose to come to this country to live a new life, to fight for a better life for your family. So how dare you try to take that away from other people? And how dare you insult and treat Black Americans as if they were inferior to you? They're not. No one is. Everyone is deemed equal under the eyes of God. And you seem to have come here and you brought with you these beliefs, and all they do is just cause and sow hatred and seeds of evil in this society. It's a big beef that I have. I just want to say that if Black and Latino people come together, if we understand that we are in the same game, fighting the same struggle, looking for the same opportunities for our families and our children and our parents, we are a powerful force to be reckoned with. But until we realize how powerful we can be when we work together, we will remain, in many ways, unfortunately, divided. And that power will be divided. And guess who benefits from that? It ain't you, brother. It ain't me. It ain't you out there working in a factory or in construction thinking that Donald Trump is going to save you from whatever the hell you thought you needed saving from. It's Jeff Bezos. It's Musk. It's this creepy little dweeb Zuckerberg that wants to be a man, that thinks that because he has a little gold chain and grew out his little hair and has a little t-shirt that somehow he's a manly man. Yeah, okay, you can take as many Thai bowl classes as you want, Mark Zuckerberg. You're not a man. You're part of an oppressive system that hurts people and causes damages to Western democracies and developing nations who are influenced by these ignorant beliefs found amongst these totalitarian states. That's it for me now. I'm trying to upload more people. I promise I'll talk about sports. I will. I have about 300 followers. I got another page that has about 200,000 followers, but that's a business page dedicated to something completely outside of the realm of politics, culture, sports, and society. I hope you stick around. Please follow my podcast. And you can also go to realdiegoarias.com. I repeat it, realdiegoarias.com. And you can read some of my essays, some of my fiction, some of my nonfiction, and some of my rambles. And I'm willing to hear you out. Any conservatives out there, any Latinos out there that think I'm wrong, please leave your comments. I believe in free speech. Free speech means that I should and read things that I don't agree with. It's all about having an open conversation. That's the whole point to a modern society. Have a lovely day, everybody. I love you. Take care. Bye.
Why are Black people saying this is not our fight making you upset? I've seen video after video from Latino creators or Latino people coming online pleading to Black people to put our bodies at the forefront of this fight against illegal ICE raids, against deportation, against roundups, against undocumented people being rounded up and families being disjointed. But there's several reasons as to why you should not be shocked that Black people are sitting this one out. You guys all remember that this is a subset of your community last year. You're also aware that across the board, overwhelmingly black people voted in favor of the candidate that had black interests, Latino interests, Asian interests at heart. Where if you look at the sentiments of what that vote represents, half of your community voted for this. Half of your community said F you to black people. Half of your community said, we don't care about you. Half of your community said you wanted to be white aligning and white adjacent. And now you're being reminded of the fact that you're not. We have to have the ability to hold multiple truths when we speak to each other as communities. The truth is that Latinos are not in a monolith. It's just an all-encompassing umbrella that they put you under. And that, yes, the majority of the people that voted for Donald Trump and were doing that were Cuban and were other people in different parts of the country, and undocumented people in Mexico, in California are being impacted by that. That is true. But what's also true is that there is a history of black people fighting and being at the forefront of civil rights in this country since the inception of civil rights in this country. And it's always been pushback and non-solidarity from multiple communities who are voting and always going against black people. So this particular time when black women especially really came out in droves and really fought forward with our votes, and you guys didn't do it, your community didn't do it. It's like, why would I fight now? Why would I fight now? So I just need you, like, if you're gonna come online and make pleas and ploys to black people, because I've seen so many videos, start by acknowledging the fact that your community has colorism, anti-blackness, and voted against your own best self-interest. Start with that. Don't come in here and ask black people just to put our bodies at the forefront of the line, because we've been doing that for a century. Secondly, I think the majority of black people who are saying that they're sitting this one out are using their voice in other ways or having solidarity with you in other ways, but they're not going to protest. They're not going to go get hit by rubber bullets. They're not going to put themselves in harm's way or make that effort again, because you guys, it's time for you to fight for yourself. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense for you. Now, there's also a bunch of black people online who are asking black people to come out and fight for everyone, and everyone needs to fight, and this is our fight as well. While I do agree with a lot of those sentiments, because if they're doing it to brown citizens, they can do it to black citizens, and they can use the Congo and Haiti as an excuse to just racially profile all of us. That's very true. But you have to stop telling black people to put themselves on the line when black people are exhausted. Black people are exhausted. Black people have done so much for all communities in this country. At a certain point, there has to be a time where they need to rest. And right now, a bunch of people are resting, and that's fine. But there will always be people in our community who fight. Like, I'm using my voice every fucking day on this app. I've made an update about every single thing going on with ICE raids, locations, where they are, what's happening with Trump. I do it every day on my social page, and it's exhausting. Like, I'm actually exhausted. Today I put up like 10 posts. I'm exhausted, but I'm doing it because I know my voice has reach, and I know that people need to hear it. And that's my personal choice. I'm not doing it because I feel obligated. So stop trying to make people feel obligated to put themselves on the line again. I say that to say it's a lot of fucked up shit happening in this country. I know that people and families, I was in tears last night seeing people self-deport themselves and people getting rounded up, grandfathers and grandmothers and abuelitas getting taken away, who are the people who are the fabric of this city in LA. But I just know that it doesn't end here, and there are black people on that list. There are black countries on that list. There are black countries on that list, and I'll say that to you again. There are black countries on that list.
All right, this message is for my brown people. And although us black folks decided to stick this one out because we did try to warn y'all at the polls, we do see that it's fucked up. California is a blue state. 66% of Latinos in California voted against Trump, but it's not enough. You got to work on your people that hate us. Then you got to rally your people because they hate you like they hate us. And don't tell me this is not about race. There's over 500,000 undocumented immigrants in America from Poland or Russia or Germany, the UK, Italy, Ireland, all over Eastern Europe. But they not joining the protest because they not being targeted. America has always been obsessed with race. You burglarize and steal someone's home, make laws that only protect you, then get upset when they want to move back in. Talking about, we need to protect our borders. Most of you never even met a Mexican American, and if you have, they probably doing a job that you would never want to do anyway. These ain't criminals. They're snatching up students and nurses and builders and farmers, electricians and plumbers. They got fucking armored vehicles pulling up on line cooks. You're separating mothers from their children and telling people who've been here for decades to just go and start a life somewhere else because you're uncomfortable. In their land. You just took their shit and was even too lazy to change the names. It's still San Francisco, San Diego, San Bernardino, Ventura, Calabasas, Rancho Cucamonga. But it's all in the name of law, right? Well, hanging people was law. Owning people was law. Segregation was law. Jim Crow, mass incarceration, redlining, stop and frisk, law, 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 law. Just because it's written don't make it right. You know Adolf had laws too. It's funny how you want people to follow the rules when they only benefit you. So let me get this straight. A man who was found guilty of committing 34 felonies is turning our troops against people who committed a civil violation. Being undocumented is a civil violation, not a felony. So who you put in office is far worse than any of these folks out here just trying to build a life in America. But y'all let him slide because he's white. I'm here in LA and not a single person died during these protests. 5 people died when they stormed the Capitol and those thugs were pardoned. Can you imagine if black and brown people stormed the Capitol? We wouldn't make it onto the fucking lawn before we got slaughtered. You naggers are all savages. You're tearing up property. Are you telling me that an insured Apple store or Louis Vuitton store is more important than the historic Capitol building of the United States? At least when black and brown people riot, it's for survival of civil rights. White America will burn a whole city down because their team won the World Series. So to all my brown brothers and sisters, coming from a people who's been fighting on the front lines for over 400 years, sacrificing our bodies so that Muslims and Asians and Africans and Indians and brown people can live a comfortable life in America, please realize that we are tired. A bit of advice. There is not a word that you can say to make those racists feel compassion because they do not view you as their equal. So keep protesting and going as hard as you can. And to the colonizers who agree with Mr. Trump, let me ask you a question. If all of your land is stolen and someone told you to go home, where would you go?
All right, Latinos, mi gente, we need to do better. I need you to watch this video all the way through because it's important for everyone, no matter what background, no matter what you believe. I need you to watch this. A few days ago, I made a video about unity. You can go look at it. It's called We Are Stronger When We Unite. And the overall message of that video was if all of the minorities, particularly the black community, if we came together with Latinos, just how powerful could we be? What are the things that we could change? What is the impact that we could create? I was coming from hey, if we unite, we can do a lot. And the black community showed up and they had a lot to say. And it wasn't great. But I'm thankful because they clarified that in my message, I missed very important context that changes, or more so, speaks to the truth of where we're at. We are in a very important place in history. We are in a position where how we organize the things that we do now, today, tomorrow, in this administration is going to determine a lot. Go back, look through my video, watch the comments. But if you notice, the overwhelming numbers that you'll hear is 92%. 92% being the amount of people in the black community who overwhelmingly voted for Harris. Now you compare that to the 46 to 52% of Latinos that voted for Trump. I was asking for them to come help us. And their response was, first of all, we've been doing this a lot longer than you. But second of all, you can't even help yourself. Why would we come and help you? And after reading through 150 plus comments and responding to most of them, it really dawned on me that they're right. They have been organizing and fighting and responsible primarily for the progress of this country for hundreds of years. And for us Latinos, we can't even get our house in order. We can't even agree on who we should vote for and who has our interest in mind. And not to mention now with these protests, I'm seeing people burning American flags. Why would you burn the flag of the country you're fighting so hard to stay in? Why? We are proud Mexicans. We are proud Latinos. I understand the flags because it represents who we are. But we should also be flying American flags because this is our home. This is my home. I've been here for 32 out of my 33 years in life. It is not us versus America. It is us fighting for what America is for us. And it is us learning to unite and support each other and organize. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of conversations that we need to have, and we need to unite and organize and do a better job of moving in the same direction, moving in the direction that is going to be good for all of us. So a lot of the comments were, don't come and ask us for help. Take care of your own house. Figure out what y'all got to do. This message has to be for you. And it was hard. It was hard to read through the comments. It was hard to comment back. It was hard to hear it again and again and again. But I'm so grateful for the Black community that showed up and had this discussion because they're right. And you know what? We do need their help, but we need to learn how to organize the way they did. Instead of asking them for help because we're the ones in trouble now, we need to learn how to organize ourselves. And more so, before we can ask anyone else to jump to our aid, we need to learn to jump to our own aid, and we need to learn to be there and support other people before we ask anyone else to come help us. So for all of the people who commented, we're sitting this one out as a Black community, y'all figure it out, I get it. And I think it's right. I think it's right because we as Latinos, we have to do a better job of supporting each other. We have to do a better job of organizing. We have to do a better job of proving that we can unite and we can organize under a common cause. And not just because we need it, but because it's good for everyone. And when our Black brothers and sisters are there and they're going through it, we have to show up for them. Unity starts with us setting the example. It starts with us making the changes that we need to make in order to help ourselves. Because other people are going to be a lot more willing to help us if we're organized, if we're moving in the right direction, and if we're doing things for others because it's the right thing to do. So if you are a Latino and you are someone who wants to make a change, and if you're someone who wants to see America be better for us, we have to learn how to organize within ourselves. We have to learn how to better understand what it is we want and do it the right way. Stop burning American flags. Organize. Learn to support each other. Don't vote because the things that he's saying, the hateful things, the hateful rhetoric doesn't apply to you. Don't vote for just what's good for you. Vote for what's good for your own family, your own loved ones. Even if you don't have any family that's undocumented. We have to come together and we have to learn that until we are voting for an America that is good for everyone, it's not going to be the America that we want to live in. So yeah, I learned, and again, I've said it before, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I made that video. I'm grateful that I had so many people reach out, and the love and support from that community that I felt once we had conversation, once people DM'd me and we had a chat, it was incredible. They've done so much for all of us that we don't even notice. We've benefited so much from the Black community and all of the effort that they've put in to make this country one where people like us are more accepted. It's our turn. It's our turn to lead the charge. And not just because we're the ones being attacked right now, but because we have the numbers, but because we have the power. And I think once we learn to organize, once we learn to row in the right direction, to take the charge in fighting for everyone's rights, then the Black community and every other community is going to be much more open to unifying with us. It may take time. We may not agree. We may not get a lot of this right, but I think we have to want it. And I think we have to step out of our own personal bubbles and step out of this, not my battle, not my fight, because it is. So to all of those in the Black community who saw my video, who commented and said, take care of your own house, talk to your own people, I appreciate it, because I think that's what we need to do.
Welcome back, tribe. I told you that I'll circle back at the end of this particular show, and here we go. Now we're going to flip things around. Let's flip it. A Mexican woman comes forward and says, I get it. Black people don't owe us a thing. She's calling out her own Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, saying that they all ignored Black pain, but now they expect, support when deportations hit home. She's had people tell her that you think you're Black just because she marched, for George Floyd, and of course for Black justice. She says it's straight empathy, shouldn't be transactional, and of course you don't need a Black to care about Black lives, just like you don't need to be a document to care about immigrant families. And of course this ain't about hate. This is about healing. And this is about healing, and healing only happens when you admit that you messed up. But if you ignored, the Blacks, even though gone, and when they were dying in the streets, and of course you can't expect, again the Blacks to be there running when it is your turn. And of course that would not be termed as unity. It's convenience. And Black people aren't the saviors of every oppressed group, so they've carried it for too much long. Tribe, it definitely looks like things are turning around, and I don't know at what point whereby Blacks are going to be the target again, and of course what is going to agitate to see them on the streets. But it's a wake-up call to the communities. Once you're an immigrant, there are no like a better shade of a migrant and a poorer shade of an immigrant, or all of them they share from the crumbs. They are immigrants, and they are not in the table, and they are not on the table, so they are eating from the crumbs. So there's gotta be a come together kind of a thing. But again, at the same time, one good turn deserves the other. What goes around comes around. I go by Sherlock. That is if it's your first time that you bumped across this one here. And if it's your first time, how about a thumbs up, a thumbs up kind of, and then a subscription. Do drop me your tiny little comment in the comment section, and those three, they will really put a very big smile on my face. Above all, see you in the next one.